Throughout all of our training, each of us has been introduced to, we've been taught, we've even practiced, sometimes at great length, various skills that we're supposed to use with clients. Now, when I was being trained, it was always kind of curious to me. I had a handful of skills that I was supposed to use. In fact, I was taught the toolbox approach. Gather a number of skills, put them in a toolbox, carry the toolbox with you, and when you have a job to do, pull the appropriate tool out and use it. There certainly are core skills that are common to all treatments, things like listening, being empathetic, providing helpful information, and helping clients reflect, gain insight, learn about themselves. And these things actually do help them improve in many, many ways. But one of the things we've learned from the research is that it is not necessarily just a skill, per se, that makes the most difference. In fact, it seems from the literature that knowing when, where, and how to implement a particular way of responding to a client is what makes the most difference. It seems that skills are most useful when they're not random, but when they have a purpose. When you know what it is you're trying to adjust, change, or promote change within a family relationship, and you use that skill on purpose to try to accomplish that. Now, the research also suggests that skills are not always useful because it might be something that feels comfortable to you or that you like or that you're familiar with. It may not be the right tool to accomplish that particular goal, and it may in fact be knowing when and where and having good timing, that even if you're excellent at a skill, it may be those things that make the most difference. Now think about it for a second. Skills are really just things that you do in response to something. And the response in psychotherapy and in counseling is a situation of a client, an expression, an experience they might have, something they might tell you or show you in the course of conversation. What a skill is a defined set of activities that you do purposely in response to something you saw from the client. As I've said earlier, unfortunately, just knowing skills is clearly not enough. You also need to understand how they're helpful and what they're going to accomplish so that you use a skill for a reason in a purposeful way. And skills are most useful when they fit into overall case planning and when they fit into an understanding of how change works over time. From that perspective, as an evidence-based treatment, FFT has a number of phase-based treatment goals that, if they're accomplished in the FFT sessions between you, the caregivers, and the youth, they will result in a change in how the family works together or a change in family functioning. There are three sets of core skills. These three sets of skills correspond to the three different parts of family relational systems that we can change. Meaning, or things that people come to believe about the behaviors of others. Skills, which are the things that family members do between themselves to work things out every day. And then lastly, maintaining changes, generalizing skills, and being able to work on and apply new ways of working with the systems around the family. Task here is not about an intervention. The task here is about knowing how to respond to what happens in the family session in a therapeutic way. So it's all about knowing what skill for you to use in responding to something that happens in the family to accomplish a particular goal. Knowing that that goal is the phase goal and that that goal represents the clinical change mechanisms that will help the family move forward. This model has three core elements, and they really reflect the beginning, the middle, and the end of any treatment process. And as I've talked about earlier, the FFT model is really a change process model. What do you do in the beginning in order to get people ready to engage in a change process, much like the pre-contemplation and contemplation parts of the stages of change model? The middle phase where we actually take some actions, and the end phase where we keep that action going. It is about, from your perspective in your session, how to use the right skill at the right time. So this isn't about interventions per se, it's about what skill to use to accomplish what goal. It's about the things that you do to create relational change, because the skills you use don't create a content change. They're about changing meaning, patterns, or behavior. These are the changes that have an impact on youth and caregivers, our primary IPs or target of our interventions. There's an assessment, an individual case plan, and then in that assessment and case plan, you start by doing what we talked about earlier to be framing the case, getting a good start before you actually see the family. Once you see the family, in this first sessions, you're going to be working on engagement skills to promote alliance, reduce blame, and help create a family focus to the problem, or what we mean by that is getting everyone on the same page. In the middle phase, or the behavior change phase, it's building in and helping families learn to identify and use different protective within family member skills to help solve the daily challenges and work things out. And lastly, there's generalizing that skill to other contexts, helping them maintain the changes through relapse prevention, and then helping them support those changes either by drawing on the appropriate support mechanisms from their world or building within family support. 3 phases, specific skills that help accomplish the relational family goal identified by the model. As you begin sessions and begin thinking about skills, it's important to think about this. What can you actually change? What is it that from our perspective or from our place as an outside change agent can we actually do to help families? Remember, we can change the patterns that bind them and get them stuck. These are those kind of patterns between people that almost go unnoticed by them. We can change the meaning they put on things, the beliefs they have about the intentionality of the person, the beliefs they have about what they were intending and meaning to do. That will help take away some of the emotion, take away some of the negativity and the blame. We can work with functions, not change them. So functions are stable. So the idea is we can match to them to make our treatment fit the personality or the culture of the family, the way that their relationships feel, so that for them, the work that we do doesn't change their core personality or the core way that family is, but instead we just change the way they work within that. And then we can change the way we deliver these things to the family. Engagement motivation, reframing, skills, linking, monitoring, generalizing, relapse prevention can all be done in ways that vary by the family. So it's not the what we present that's going to change, it's the how. With some families, you present it in a more one-down way, kind of offering suggestions. In other families, you provide it with a real voice of authority. Sometimes you engage people by making activities very intense and very frequent with high quantity. Other times you make them less intense and less frequent. Again, you can match how you deliver FFT to the unique composition of the families. We can change patterns. We can change meaning. We can match the functions, and we can change the way we deliver FFT to each family that we work with. The focus then needs to be on knowing what the model tells you to do, and then thinking and being creative in how you apply it. It is important to remember that interventions, so to speak, are for a purpose. They don't stand alone. In FFT, it's not good enough to say, I did X intervention. You have to be able to say, I did X intervention in order to accomplish this particular goal. The reason that that's important is because that gives you the opportunity to change the way you try to accomplish these core things that are essential for change. So interventions are purposeful to accomplish goals, and they have an impact on the family. That's the goal. And that we can judge that impact and then change how we might provide. So it goes a little like this. We identify goals, what it is you want to change. This is looking first to the phase, saying, where am I and what am I going to do? The idea is to intervene in the session immediately by interrupting, reframing, adding skills, whatever that is, assess the impact, and then adjust how we may say, we may pace, we may describe, we may respond to the family. Have a goal, intervene, and try it. Assess the impact, and then adjust. And it becomes a real decision-making cycle when you go to think about interventions in this way. You identify a goal, intervene, try to accomplish that, see how it worked, adjust how you plan to deliver it. Not change the goal, but adjust how you plan to deliver it. Keep trying, be creative, be persistent, intervene again, assess again, and adjust again. And it's a constant process of identifying, intervening, assessing, and adjusting.